Okay, it is now 6 o'clock. So let's go ahead and get started. Again, because we have a lot of ground to cover. I'm going to start by introducing myself. My name is Erica Ford, and I am the International Career Development Coach, but I shorten it. And my role here at Cornell is to support Cornell's international students across the campus. What that may look like is providing one-on-one career coaching appointments, starting from figuring out options that fit within your student visa requirements, if you're focused on the US, to resumes and cover letters, job search strategies, interview preparation, job offer considerations. Once you get a job offer, negotiating that offer. I feel like I'm leaving something important out. But basically, I support students through their career development journey, really focused on once you've decided on taking a path, how to take steps to reach the goals that you've set for yourself. I've been with Cornell for almost 3 years. It'll be 3 years in December. And I previously worked as an immigration advisor for international students and an academic advisor. So I've been supporting international students in some capacity since 2014. And it's been a very rewarding career. I say because I'm talking to international students, you all are part of what makes really the main reason of why I find my own career to be interesting and fulfilling. And I thank you all for joining me today. And today I'm going to be talking about the career fair, or career fair days, as we're calling it this year. Our career fair starts, technically, there's a career fair this Thursday. There's a consulting exploration fair for undergraduates, but really geared toward freshmen and sophomores. And then there's like the big career fair days, 4 sessions over 3 days, next Monday through Wednesday. And there is a virtual STEM career fair. Everything that I'm saying, except the consulting exploration fair, is in these slides. I will share these slides through email, and I'll also share, I think just with registrants, a link to the recording. I will also try to quickly post the recording on the website, and give you all information about that if you want to refer to the website later on. Okay, so let's jump in. So today we're covering a lot of ground. We're basically going to be talking about four main things, or focus on four main goals. That's to help you all understand what a career fair is and what to expect, especially if you've never been before, to learn how to build your list of target employers and your strategy for navigating the career fair, to learn certain cultural nuances of interacting with employers. I'll say nuances, light on the culture, heavy on the nuance. And then I want to share some additional resources that may be helpful for you throughout your journey. So I want to give you all this sort of visual. This career development cycle sort of represents Cornell Career Services' view of career development. So every individual from our perspective goes through this process of exploring, understanding, and developing your career. It usually begins with understanding more about yourself, your values, your interests, your goals, what you're good at. Then moving into exploring the options that you have, what's actually out there for you. Can you have conversations with people to explore? Are there things that you can do to test out experiences, such as internships? And then once you're ready to take action, that is applying cover letters, resumes, prepping to interview, and actually securing a role. I recognize that we put internships in exploring because they are exploratory, but they are also part of the taking action, right? Many of you, or some of you at least, will be looking for internship opportunities in hopes to build toward your post-grad full-time position. So I want to acknowledge that. And the career fair is a good fit for anyone at any phase of this cycle. So earlier today, I spoke with a brand new PhD student who likely won't be working next summer, but they could still come to the career fair to get an idea of what employers come to recruit from campus, talk to some company representatives who may be recruiters or alumni, and prepare for the next fall career fair if they just want to see what's going on and get a little practice in and learn more about companies. And then you have people who are actually actively looking for jobs and are hoping to move forward in a recruitment process with one of the companies there. It's okay if you're in either bucket, exploring, trying to figure out what's available to you, or actually, you know, what employers there you want to talk to and pursue opportunities with them. The career fair is for everyone. So this is a video just to give you a visual of what it looks like. So notice it's kind of loud. This is in Barton Hall, which is what we have done before, or where we have had the in-person career fair for a while. Because Barton is serving as a temporary volleyball court this year, it will be in a different building, Bartels, which is further up the hill on Campus Road, really close to the stadium. So basically right across from the Crescent lot, that's Bartels. That's an athletics building, similar to this. This is an athletics building, but that is where the basketball courts are, the climbing rock is. So it'll be in the same space as the climbing rock. And I've got some maps for you all to see too. So I want to get an idea of how familiar you all are with the career fair. So if you all could comment yes if you've been to a career fair before, or no if you have not been to a career fair before. I'd like to see who my audience is. Okay, I see some yeses. I see more nos. Okay. Okay, great. Thank you all. Y'all are so fast. Can someone unmute and tell me what you think, or comment? You all can comment as well in the chat. What do you think is the purpose of career fairs? I talked a little bit already, but I have more to break down. What do you think the purpose is for career fair events?
I think the purpose of a career fair is to network with employers and to get to know about company culture.
Okay. Yeah, it's a great example. Get to know career opportunities, also network. Thank you so much. Sorry, I can't see you, so I have no clue who unmuted, but thank you so much for unmuting. Anyone else have anything to add? I think you hit the nail on the head. So thank you so much. To introduce us to the job world and to tell us which career paths can we choose. Okay, yeah. So get an idea of what the job world is like and understand what those career paths may be. Yeah, definitely. Thank you all. And then why do you all think companies are participating in the career fair? What's their reason? You all are getting to know career opportunities. You're getting to figure out what options there are. You're networking. Why do you think companies are participating in the career fair?
I think rather than just like viewing all these resumes like in documents or in like PDFs, like because like we are picking where we want to work in, but like the employers are also picking who they want to work with, or at least like who's they're going to pay their like money to. So like by reading resume, like a person can make up a really good resume, but like like in person, they can ask you to talk about it. They can talk to you and see like, did you make up your resume or you actually did all these things that you stated?
Yes, yes, definitely. Sort of gauging who a candidate may be in real life. Um, Someone also mentioned scouting out new talent. It's a chance for exposure. It's a chance to get their name out there if there are people who aren't familiar with the company or what they're all about. Um, Definitely, it's part of their recruitment strategy. Sometimes just for brand recognition, but other employers may actually come with targets. Like, we want to actually fill X number of seats in this internship program or full-time hiring cohort from Cornell. So we're going to source a ton of students to interview. Um, and see who we can place in our openings. What do you all want to get out of the career fair individually? You told me a bit about like the purpose, but what are you hoping for this coming cycle of career fairs? Hello? Okay, so get to have one-on-one interactions with recruiters. Yes, that's a good goal. Any other goals or desires that you all want to accomplish attending the career fair? I'm hoping to meet representatives and learn about their companies, maybe build some connections, get interviews and find a job. Yes, yes. Learn more about types of careers and what to expect. Ideally, get an offer. Yes. Find out if there are opportunities for internships after freshman year. Find companies that are open to hiring international students. Hope to get to know the jobs and maybe get the contact information of the HR. Also want to build up connections. Okay, thank you all so much. You all have like different types of goals, which I think is great. Like, some of you are sort of trying to see what's out there. A few of you reference building relationships and getting to know recruiters, getting that one-on-one interaction time. And someone said, hey, I'm looking for a job. I'm looking for an offer. Actually, a couple people, no, one person specifically said that, or no, two people said that. So yeah, so you all here, even in this workshop, are reflecting the diverse reasons why students may want to attend. And I think that's awesome. Okay, here's another video. Wait, hold on. Nope, sorry, that's a photo. That's a video. So this is check-in. Again, this is another building than where we'll be, but it'll look sort of similar to this. This is before COVID. That's another thing to point out. These photos, which are kind of small, sorry, these are from last year. Still in a building that we won't be in, but it will probably look more like this visually, the curtains and such. The color coordination, Cornell colors, and these smiling faces are a lot of the career services folks who will be volunteering this year as well. And I say volunteer, we're getting paid, but we're not working our typical job. We're helping with the career fair. So if you see people in red polo shirts, you're distraught, you're lost, you got a question, feel free to stop one of us and ask your questions. I will be there. I will be in a lot of different places. So just know that we're here to help you if anything comes up and you have any questions. There will also be an advising table, which I'll point out on the map when I show you. Okay, so the career fair, as I mentioned, is 4 events. The career fair days that are next week. It's 4 events over 3 days. One day, literally, the 2 events run from early in the morning until evening time, and there's a break in between. So I encourage you all to actually go into Handshake and look at the career fair events, and decide like how much time you can or want to spend attending these events. Do they fit with your classes? Is your professor giving you some time off from class to attend, and actually come up with your plan? It is recommended that you try to stay for around 2 hours over those 4 sessions. Some sessions may not be relevant to you. I'll get into that a little more later, but think about the time you're devoting to going and exactly when you can fit it around your schedule. And try, if you can, to carve out 2 hours total. Maybe that's an hour one day, an hour another, or an hour before and after class, however works for you. Okay, so here are why companies participate. I've hinted at some of this earlier. So they want to get their name out there, name recognition. They want to promote themselves. They want to attract new talent, right? It's all about them building their brand with the public, with potential candidates. They want to share what they're hiring for. What are those opportunities? What are their internships? What are PhD level opportunities, master's level, bachelor's level, and different years over your bachelor's? What opportunities are for freshmen if they have them? What opportunities are more geared toward juniors and seniors, for example? And there will be employers there who invite students to interview. Believe it or not, that happens quite a bit from the career fair. There is some time that employers can actually come down the hill to Barnes Hall and use our interview spaces over those days as well. So you never know. It doesn't mean that you're guaranteed to be interviewed, but there are students who are interviewed as a result of their interaction at the career fair. Who participates? Recruiters and Cornell alumni come to represent their companies. We have almost 190 companies scheduled over those 4 days for the in-person fair. And I think there's like 30 for the STEM virtual fair so far. That's a lot of companies. And sorry, this is so small, but these are the different industries that the companies that are specifically saying they take CPT and OPT and sponsor visas. Doesn't give you information about the job roles, but from pharmaceuticals to energy, oil and gas, or renewable energy and utilities, civil engineering, higher education, hotels and accommodations, there's restaurants and food service, scientific consulting, management consulting, agriculture, etc. Healthcare. There are a lot of industries that will be represented, government at the fair, lots of them. Oh, I just realized that wasn't showing, sorry. So here's this visual of the different industries that are specifically represented by international friendly companies. Why do students participate? We talked about this earlier. You want to explore opportunities. You want to make connections with reps and alumni, recruiters, whoever is coming from those companies. You want to connect in real time, face to face with real people. Learn about companies, learn about their opportunities. You want to see what it's like to go to a fair. Lots of you said you've never been. So why not go for your first time here at Cornell? And I mentioned before, getting an interview, it's not guaranteed. I don't want to build your hopes up as if everyone at the fair gets an interview, but it is a possibility. I remember doing a panel of alumni last year, and one graduated from their bachelor's in AAP. I forget exactly what program they did, but it was an architectural design oriented program, and they work for an employer that they met at the career fair. So that was their start of their recruitment relationship and eventual acceptance of an offer from a company that they met at the career fair. So you just never know. And again, they were an international student. It was an international student panel. So it does happen. Okay, now how should you dress? You want to dress in business casual, I know this says professional business attire, but business casual is the terminology that we use. And sorry if this is too small, it's looking a little small for me. I'm just gonna look at another screen. So that's a button down top. That's a tie with your button down. That's slacks, like plain black pants or khakis. Some students will choose to wear suit jackets. You're not required by any means to wear suit jackets, but there may be industries where it's better for you to wear a suit jacket. I'm thinking finance, management consulting, maybe human resources, real estate. You may decide, okay, I'm gonna jazz it up a little bit and wear a suit jacket. That's totally fine. You see a blouse, you see a dress. I do want to point out that with the new space that we will be in, the floor is soft. So if there are any graduate students here who went to the graduate resource fair, the career fair will be in that room in Bartels Hall. So the floor is very soft. It's an interesting sort of material that absorbs shock, I think. So you just want to avoid thin heels. If you wear any heels, you're encouraged to wear flats if you wear that type of shoe. So I've listed here some stores in the area. If you need to go get a new tie, or you want to purchase a new item to wear to the fair, there are lots of shopping options within Ithaca. Nearby in cities like Cortland, they have a couple of stores. And then Syracuse is the next large city. So Syracuse is an hour away. Portland is 25 to 30 minutes away. And of course, we are right here in Ithaca. So I've listed some options. Some are men's only, some are women's only. Like Loft and Talbots are women. Men's Warehouse, Benjamin Peters, I believe both are men. And then Kohl's and TJ Maxx, and the rest are for both genders. So if you need to buy something, you're encouraged to check out one of these stores. Please don't wear pajamas, sweatpants, flip-flops, a basketball jersey, just to think of, take it seriously. And not to say you won't take it seriously if you're dressed casually, but just remember that this is your chance to make that first impression with representatives from companies that you're hoping may consider you one day, either in the near future or further into the future. So do what you can to make a great impression. I think the weather is going to be fairly cool, so it won't be too hot in the room. So you could jazz it up a little bit and dress a little nicer than you do on a typical day. Also, if you don't want to purchase clothes, or maybe you don't have the money right now, I encourage you to check out the Cornell Wardrobe, which provides free professional attire for any student. You can rent clothing. They also have pop-up shops. Sadly, their pop-up shop was yesterday. Last year, it was like the day after my career fair prep workshop, but it was actually yesterday. So their next one probably won't be until next semester, but you can certainly check out their website and rent a suit jacket or any other types of professional clothing. Their clothes, they refresh their wardrobe fairly often, so their clothes are in really good condition. We actually store wardrobe clothing in our building upstairs. So definitely check them out. You can visit their website to submit a request to rent clothing items. Okay, and before the career fair, I can't believe I'm almost halfway through. Here are some to-do items that you'll want to do, ideally. You want to update and print copies of your resume. It's recommended that you print a copy for every employer that you want to talk to, and then a few extra just in case you need those. You stumble on some new employers, a copy gets wet, whatever it is, or there's multiple people that you want to hand it out to. definitely take some extras. You want to review the list of employers in Handshake. I'll go through that more closely and tell you what to look for. Create your target list of employers. Who do you actually want to interact with? There's a way to follow them in Handshake. I'll show you that too. Do a little research on the companies. If you want to look at their current openings, take a look at their internship program so you can learn a little bit about them before you actually interact with their rep. Usually, if the company is large enough, they will have a web page devoted to students. So they'll have internship and early career oriented information on those student career pages. They may call them different things: early career, student, graduate, but they probably have a page just for students. And then you also want to practice your professional introduction. I'll go over that later on today. Time. Okay, let me try and talk a little faster. Here are things that you want to bring to the career fair. Something to write with, something to write on, pen and notepad. You could obviously use your phone as well. Your list of target employers, a printout of the map. I keep hearing mixed messaging about whether there will be printouts for every student or just a few. I think it will be just a few, not for every student. But you'll be able to access the map on your phone. It's not yet posted, but it will be posted, I think, before the end of this week, on the career fair event page in Handshake. So be on the lookout for that. And if you have any trouble finding it, you can always email me. Let's say if it's not posted by Friday at noon, just email me, and I can look for an update on the status of the map or point you to where it is if it's posted somewhere and you're not able to find it. Bring your resume copies, a list of prepared questions if you want something to refer to while you're waiting in line, and mints. There will be mints at the advising table. I'm pretty sure there were last year. So you don't want smelly breath when you're in close proximity talking to recruiters. So mints will probably be good. Okay. There's just a few things here. These are snippets from some advice that Cornell alumni gave in our networking platform, which is called CU eLinks. It's a Cornell specific networking platform. We posted a post last year about advice that they would give to students planning to attend the career fair for the first time in person since COVID. Last fall was the first time in person since COVID. And here are just some of the many bits of advice that they gave. You can find this question in the discussion page, which I think is in groups under communities in CU eLinks. If you're interested in checking it out, let me know and I can send you the link, the direct link to it. Just send me an email. So they encourage students to aim for 3 to 5 target employers. So we talked about earlier planning to spend around 2 hours. You could probably talk to all 5 employers in those 2 hours, assuming that the lines aren't too long. Speaking of long lines, don't waste too much time standing in long lines. So there will be some companies that have lines that like wrap around or go past other booths. Last year it was TikTok. So students may spend 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour in a line that long. Do you want to spend that much time planning to talk to just one employer? Sometimes it may be worth it. That decision is yours. Or do you want to hit some of the shorter lines first and then go stand in the longer line, and see if you can get some time with those reps? Our alumni discourage students from spending too much time standing in long lines and encourage students to approach employers with no lines or short lines. Write a summary of your elevator pitch. So I thought this was really interesting, and put it on the top of your resume so that the conversation carries beyond your short chat. So you could just do a traditional resume summary. It doesn't necessarily have to be a version of your elevator pitch, but the two are related, and I'll have some examples later. Ask for contact information to email or write a thank you note later, and then make eye contact and be yourself. And again, there's more than just this advice on CU eLinks. in the communities section under groups, if you're interested in reading more. If you need help updating your resume, there are some events happening. I'm doing an event tomorrow, actually, that I didn't add because it's for a group, but any student is welcome. It is in 626 Thurston, which is right by the Welcome Center, right across the bridge from where AAP is, if you know where the architecture school is. It's just to the right on the other side of the bridge, heading toward Toni Morrison. You can find that event in Handshake if you want to come to that resume event. You don't have to get your resume reviewed. We do every afternoon in Barnes Hall from 1 to 4 p.m. We do drop-in resume reviews. They can be virtual or in person. You can schedule a virtual one ahead of time. It's available to undergrads and master students because it's undergraduate students reviewing resumes, and we don't want them to review doctoral students' resumes. So if you're interested in a drop-in with Barnes and you're an undergrad or master student, you don't have to schedule an appointment. You can just come, or you can schedule a same-day appointment on our website by visiting career.cornell.edu, which is in the bottom right. Thank you for submitting a question. I will work my way through the end of this section and then I will address your question, Sylvia. Thank you. And then there's an engineering and tech focus resume review and a resume review for students in Brooks. And I think those are specific to the students in those schools. So Barnes Hall, Central Office, we see students from every college, as long as you're not MBA or a law student, which you wouldn't be here because they don't have access to Handshake. Okay. Actually, I'll take a moment. Oh, I'm like 10 minutes behind. Okay, so, oh, you're saying after the presentation. Okay, so I'll circle back to this at the end. Thank you so much, Sylvia, for explaining that you're okay with me addressing it afterwards. Okay, so in Handshake, here is how you find the fair, which is also how you find out which employers are attending and also how you register for updates. So if you go to Handshake, the website, which I don't have here, is just joinhandshake.com, I'm pretty sure. You could also just Google Cornell Handshake and find it. Under events, you want to go to career fairs at your school and select 2025 Cornell Career Fair Days. The event will look like this, and you will want to register by clicking the button in the upper right-hand corner. Notice here, there are the 4 sessions that are happening. Monday is focused on human capital and human resources. That's good for ILR students, but there are a lot of other students in other schools. Like I spoke with a psychology student who was interested in human resources. So that may be interesting to you. You don't have to be an ILR student to explore your options in that career path. There's real estate and hospitality together on Tuesday in the morning. There's an all industries fair, which is open to everyone, every major, every career path. Every major is able to attend the others as well, but you'll find more options that aren't just specialized into real estate and hospitality, for example, in the all industries fair. That's the afternoon into evening or late afternoon into evening on Tuesday. And then Wednesday is the STEAM fair. I believe the A in STEAM stands for architecture. I don't know where I heard that from, but I think that that's what the A is. So there will be some architectural firms there, as well as design firms. That's Wednesday morning into the afternoon. When you register, you have to pick the sessions, or you're encouraged to pick the sessions you want to go to. You don't actually have to register in order to go, but you won't get updates through Handshake if you don't register. So you're encouraged, you're highly encouraged to register. Now we have employers. How do you look at the employers? So one thing that I really like about Handshake that no other platform does as of yet, there are some platforms that say they do, but it's yet to be proven to me as an international career coach who's tested a lot of platforms. Handshake is the one platform where when an employer signs up for an event or posts a job, they're prompted to say whether or not they have opportunities for international students or the specific job is open to international students, specifically CPT or OPT. If there are any J1 students here, you can assume that they also take academic training because it's basically the same thing for a different student visa. And then they say whether or not they're open to sponsorship. One thing to know about employers is they don't always know the difference. So they often think that they're sponsoring a student when they're just taking CPT or OPT or academic training. Don't let that throw you. The most important thing is their confirmation that they're open to people with temporary work authorization, you all, international students. That's the most important thing. So when you go to employers, there is, sorry, I didn't circle this, but filters. Hopefully you all can see my mouse here. When you click on filters, filters show up. So you can filter based on session. You don't really have to do that. I should have gotten rid of that slide, sorry. So filters, you can filter based on sessions. You don't really have to do this. What I would encourage you to certainly do, however, is scroll down in that filters list and select one at a time, select accepts CPT or OPT or CPT candidates and will sponsor candidates. The reason why I say select them one at a time is because if you select both, for some reason, there are some employers that get excluded. And it's not just employers who don't say both. It's like randomly employers who say one or the other will show up, but not others. So just check both and look at the websites or look at the results individually and follow the employers that are interesting to you. Just do it one at a time to make sure you don't miss anyone. There are more filters, industries, I would skip labels, job types, employment types, school years. Not every company reports information for the fair on what specific job roles or job types or even school years. Sometimes it's kind of annoying. I think they do pretty frequently select what majors they're open to taking and more frequently select school years, not always. You'll see what employers enter. I'll show you some screenshots of that. And as I mentioned, employers think they sponsor when they really mean they take CPT or OPT. So don't let that deter you. If the employer says one or the other, approach them for sure. And know that even if an employer doesn't say they take CPT or OPT, it doesn't mean you can't talk to them. It may mean that they will turn you away, but you're not prohibited from talking to an employer just because they don't say that they take CPT or OPT. Now here's an example of what you see when you look at the employers list. You filter by employers or you don't filter by employers. This is the information that shows in the employers page on the career fair, in the career fair event in Handshake. So this is Alpha Sites. I want to plug an event that I'm doing with Alpha Sites. Alpha Sites and Amazon will join me for an employer panel on international student hiring practices. I'm trying to get one or two more. That will be on a slide later in this presentation, but I highly encourage you all to attend if you want to get an employer's perspective on how they approach hiring international students, how they decide on sponsorship, what their policies look like, things they're looking for, et cetera. It'll just be for international students specifically. So you see here, there's information about Alpha Sites, an overview of their company, a link to their website, information about which career fair session or sessions they're attending. There are some employers who are attending multiple sessions, a button for you to be able to follow them. Alpha Sites is one of the few companies that actually list the job titles they're recruiting for. A lot of companies didn't do that, unfortunately. The types of jobs, internships, or full-time jobs or regular jobs. work authorization information. They don't say they sponsor, but they do say they take CPT or OPT. The academic years they're looking for. I don't see majors listed here. So once you review the list, you follow all the employers that look interesting to you, you can get back to the list of employers you follow. I wish I showed you the entire page, but this is just a screenshot from the top of the page. Where you view employers, you just click this employers I follow button. And if you want to pull up Handshake right now, you can certainly do that. So that's that. That's Alpha Sites. This is an example of an employer who doesn't have job titles. One thing about Handshake that's kind of quirky as well is employers have to input job titles they're recruiting for in order for them to show up for the career fair. However, the employer may actually have job openings posted in Handshake, even though there's nothing showing here. So I always recommend clicking the company's name so you can see if they have postings in Handshake first, because they always have the OPT and CPT filters or sponsorship filters. And you can view that job by job if they've posted in Handshake. And then again, you can go to the company's website and see what they're hiring for. I recommend doing this for the companies that are interesting to you. So if there are 3 to 5 employers and you're like, I absolutely want to talk to them, do a little research by looking at their Handshake page, looking at the jobs they have posted, which I'll show you, and going to their website. I'm going so slow. Sorry, guys. I am recording this and I will post before recording. Feel free to stick around because it's going to take me longer than an hour. Here's another example of another employer. This is a hospitality-oriented employer. They're going to the Real Estate and Hospitality Fair and the All Industries Fair. They're hiring interns specifically. They don't have a job posting here or the full title here, but they do have a posting. Sorry, they don't have a full job title here, but they do have a posting for their hospitality internship. If I click the company's name, this is a screenshot from their Handshake company profile. You follow them here, and you can see what jobs they have posted. There's some companies like Alpha Sites that have like 6 jobs posted in Handshake. I do see a question, so let me go over, because this question is about this page. When it says that the employer are looking for juniors under school years, do they mean rising juniors or students that are currently juniors? I'm going to assume that they mean currently juniors, but that's a great question that you could clarify with them. But assume that it's the current school year, what your level is for the current school year. Let me read the other comment. Just flagging question for after the presentation. Are there any natural ways to ask for contact information you would recommend? Would something like this be good? It was so great to meet you. If I have any questions in the future, is there a platform you prefer for me to contact you? So you could even say, is there a method? So it doesn't really have to be a platform, because they could say like message me on Handshake, which you can message recruiters through Handshake, or they could say just email me. Most likely they'll say email me. There will be a QR code that you can scan at different booths. I don't have this in my slides because this is new this year and I forgot, but there will be a QR code that you can scan at every employer booth to share your Handshake profile with them. So I would also encourage you to update your Handshake profile along with your resume. Just copy and paste within your resume over into Handshake essentially. And they will get that copy. And I'm not sure if you get, I don't know if you get employer contact information, but they will get your information. So if they like, they can reach out to you as one of the many students that they spoke with at the fair. One quick question. What if they're open to CPT or OPT, but don't mention that they will sponsor or not? So it could mean that they in fact don't sponsor. I have gone through every single employer that says one or the other or both. And I can tell you that the vast majority where there's an employer saying one thing but not the other, It's actually the opposite. They're saying, they don't say we take CPT or OPT, they're only saying we sponsor. So you can absolutely ask one. You also want to do your research. You could actually look up the company in an H-1B database like Interstride, My Visa Jobs, H-1B Grader. There's so many. You could look them up and see if they sponsored any relevant job titles at experience levels that are relevant to you. So sometimes a job title may say business analyst 1. Well, if you're an undergraduate student or you don't have much professional experience, that's going to be an entry-level role, most likely the type of role that you would enter into. And if they sponsor that role, it's more likely that they would sponsor you as a new employee. I will also say I know someone, I showed you all Alpha Sites, and not to say this is the case for everyone, but I worked with a student last fall who, on a lot of things, career exploration, her job application process, practice interviews, and she got an offer from Alpha Sites, which she wasn't anticipating offering sponsorship when it actually did. So I like to think of Handshake as at least partial evidence that the company is international friendly, but you may need to do a little digging and certainly ask questions to see, okay, are they international friendly only to the extent where they'll take you as an intern? Are they international friendly only to the extent where they will take you as an intern or on OPT or the STEM OPT extension or academic training after graduation? Or are they willing or able to see you through to actually try and sponsor a work visa for you? Handshake isn't the best at helping to distinguish between those three things. That's more of a conversation that you want to have as you're going through the recruitment process. I also have a job search strategies workshop coming up, which will be posted on a slide later. Let me try and speed this up. I also want to point out when you go, so this is ICOM or ACOM, I'm not sure how to say their name, sorry. They're a design firm. They have 4 positions posted in Handshake right now. This is a screenshot from the jobs part, or no, from lower in their employer profile. I have an employer, so see this Aspen Meadows Resort. This is basically the top of an employer's Handshake profile. When I click jobs, this sort of takes you down on the page. And I want to point out here that there are maybe a dozen, you're welcome, maybe a dozen employers who will be at the fair who have actually hired international students from Cornell, and they are labeled in Handshake. They're part of this collection. And I would encourage you all to check out this collection and follow it. I sent an email on Saturday with a lot of information. It was a very long email, but one of the things I highlighted as a resource for international students is this collection. This collection consists of 639 employers across a variety of industries who have hired an international student, at least one international student from Cornell in the last 10 years. So this exists in hopes to provide additional leads for international friendly employers. What we don't list is like what major, we don't want to disclose too much information because you'd be able to find that person most likely. But we do at least give you all ideas of which companies have hired and are open to or have been open to hiring international students after graduation. So check that out. And look for this when you're reviewing the employer's profile, look for that collection and see, okay, this is an employer who's actually hired an international student from Cornell, and they said they take CPT or OPT or whatever. Or maybe they didn't say they take CPT or OPT, but they have hired an international student from Cornell. Then you want to like do a little more digging, look at their job postings, and look at their H-1B sponsorship history, see if they have any. So for your target list of employers, I also encourage you to find them on the map. Once you have a copy of the map, again, follow up with me Friday afternoon if you don't see a copy of the map online on the Handshake event. Also, something new that we're doing this year is we are basically offering employers the opportunity to post a globe at their booth if they would like to verify and advertise to students passing by that they are open to hiring international students. My anticipation is that some employers will be hesitant to post this globe, even if they do. However, there will be others who are like, absolutely, we'll post this stuff. We want international students to know that they can approach us and confirm without even talking to us that we're open to hiring them. We're also hoping that there's, I think, 79 or 80 employers who have said, yes, we do CPT or OPT or sponsor. The rest, the 100, 110 that didn't will still be offered this globe. So it's another chance for an employer who's not labeled as open to CPT or OPT or visa sponsorship to say, you know what, we do actually take temporary work authorization or offer sponsorship. We'll go ahead and post this up. So you'll just want to look for these globe stickers on the booths, and there will be signs throughout reminding students to look for this globe sticker if you're looking for employers open to CPT, OPT, or sponsorship. Hoping it makes your life easier. There will be a notation on the map as well. And you're encouraged to prioritize international friendly employers if you find them to be a good fit. Again, it doesn't mean that you can't speak with any employer. You absolutely can speak with any employer. Please don't feel ashamed, especially if there's an employer you're really interested in. Let them be the ones to tell you, sorry, this year we're not actually hiring or sponsoring international students. Don't count yourself out just because they haven't said out loud that they take CPT or OPT through providing that information in Handshake. We'll also have a sign like this. It'll have just one column this year. It will be near the advisor table, which will be right at the entrance for the fairs. And it will combine into one. These employers, this list of employers are the 79, 80 employers who are either open to CPT or OPT or sponsorship. We won't distinguish between the two because, again, sometimes employers say we will sponsor, then they don't say yes to CPT or OPT, which is crazy because they really mean they take CPT or OPT. They may mean that they actually sponsor. So that part doesn't matter. Are they willing to hire international students is the main question. And then you can expand it beyond that if you're interested in sponsorship prospect. As a reminder, J1 students, even though Handshake chooses to say CPT or OPT, and so will the sign, unfortunately, actually we may be adding academic training. I'll have to confirm that, but it's neither here nor there. Just know if you're a J1 student, when you see CPT, OPT, assume that academic training is in the mix there. It's just hidden. Okay, so now I want to show you the maps. So 3 of the fairs are in Bartels. 1 of the fairs is in the Statler Hotel, in the ballroom, which is on the 2nd floor. When you enter Statler on the hotel side, you just go up the stairs and it's past Taverna Bonfils, the fancy Italian restaurant in there. So there's sort of 2 sections. There's this kind of lobby-ish area, and then there's the actual ballroom. So sorry, this is so small, but basically there will be a place for you to put your backpack. There's an advising table to ask questions. There's registration check-in, employers check-in here. You can take headshot photos. Yeah, okay, that's awesome. And then what's this? These are tables, I guess, to stand around and hang out and chat. And then in the ballroom, there will be the employer's booths. So you basically walk around in this sort of circular shape and chat with employers throughout until you don't want to anymore. So that is what that looks like. Bartels is much bigger than this. Actually, this is more of a full map of Bartels with some things blocked out that are more for career services. But notice here, Campus Road Across from here is the Crescent lot, and then the football stadium is over here. So Bartels is right past the football stadium on the left-hand side of Campus Road. And it's this great big athletic section. You check in, you enter here, you check in, you drop off your bags, backpacks, and purses. You may decide, in fact, to leave your bags in your dorm if you don't have class in between or somewhere else. But if you bring them, you'll drop them off here and then you'll enter the fair. If you need a break, we do have this cool space called the Quiet Zone, which is really for you to decompress and relax, take a load off. And then if you have any issues, the advising table is this first table here. And then there's like a larger sort of career services area, which you may be directed to if certain things come up. But just know you can stop and ask your questions at this first table if anything arises, or stop anyone in a red polo shirt. And that's just, the rock wall is here, and that's just numbered tables. Okay, so after the career fair, you want to do these things. Send a thank you email with follow-up questions if you have them. Apply promptly to current job openings. Fulfill any requests that they have made of you. Maybe they said, oh yes, shoot me an email as soon as you get home, or we're actually going to post this opening tonight. Go ahead and apply and I'll follow up with you tomorrow. Anything that they tell you, give you to do to move forward to possibly getting a screening interview, schedule a screening with me. Someone will call you, or call this number, whatever it is that they tell you. Promptly follow up, please, because that's a legitimate opportunity to recruit with that company if they're giving you something else to do. Plan to attend employer events. So beyond the career fair, employers actually do a lot of in-person and virtual events. We had, oh gosh, who was on campus today? I forget who was on campus. Heinz Craft and Deloitte. Both of these companies were in Barnes Hall doing coffee chats, and I think the other was doing interviews today. Physically on campus, Barnes Hall, companies, reps, hiring, students, recruiting. There are things like this happening all the time that a lot of students are just not aware of. All of these events are posted in Handshake if they are for Cornell, whether they're virtual or in person. And then employers will do their own sorts of events apart from any institution. They may do their own scheduled information session, that you find their schedule through their social media or their student recruitment website. So be on the lookout for these information sessions. If you follow those employers in Handshake, that information will show up in your feed. There's another page that I'm going to encourage you to sign up for to get those kinds of updates as well. Answer your phone, check your voice, check your email. Like, I know that you all are busy and there's a lot of school to attend to, your courses, your deadlines, your papers, everything. But just don't forget that if you've met an employer and they're planning to reach out to you, check your emails, please check your emails and your voicemails. And I say that as someone who kind of likes my voicemails to pile up. And then if you can, find them on LinkedIn, whether they're a recruiter or an alum that you meet at the career fair, jot down their name, find them on LinkedIn with your connection request, send a note. It was great to meet you at the career fair. Sending a note to connect here. I look forward to staying in touch with you. Simple. Okay, at the fair, now I think I'm like 20 minutes behind. Okay, after the fair, sorry, not at the fair. So this is a screenshot from the Handshake events page, and you see PepsiCo, Verizon, Barclays, KLA, Deloitte. I took this screenshot today. So these are events. Some of them actually are or were today, actually 5 of them. Something is happening tomorrow, networking. I don't know what Teamer for a Day is, coffee chats, information sessions. So check Handshake events. You'll also want to subscribe to career paths on our website. So if you visit career.cornell.edu, you'll toggle over or hover your mouse over explore career paths. You may need to click it, I can't remember, but you'll see all of the career paths that we have created on our website. Ag and food, architecture, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Anything that is interesting and relevant to you, I highly encourage you to click on that page and hit the subscribe button. You can set notification settings to get updates from that one or multiple career paths on events, new job postings, blog posts, resources. I think that's about all that comes into those emails, but you can decide to get them monthly or weekly. I highly encourage you to sign up. That's in events. I didn't mention events. So there are also events that are essentially tagged to show up in this career path. Yes, I will be sharing the recording. Thank you so much for attending. I've got some DMs. Thank you all for giving me an hour. Sorry this is taking longer. And I hope to see you at the employer panel. Yes, awesome. Thank you so much. And I will share a link to this recording probably tomorrow morning, and I'll also update the caption so that I can post it on our website for others who couldn't attend. Subscribe to a career path. Let me keep going so I'm not taking up too much more extra time. Other things to do after the career fair. Take some time to think, reflect on your experience. Do you actually want to work with any of these companies? What were those opportunities that really sounded interesting to you, that seemed to fit well with your goals and your skill set, the things that you value? Are there things that you should be doing over this next semester or 2 semesters or beyond to help build your skills to make you competitive for opportunities with that company? Do you need to intern somewhere first in order to pursue a full-time role? Is there a course you need to take or an experience that you want to have, research on campus, whatever it is? What are those skills that you need to build to help you reach that goal? Do you need more information? Do you want to have a follow-up conversation with an alum that you've met and set up a time to actually have a coffee chat with them? What is it that you want to do? Is there a new alum that you could reach out to that didn't come to the career fair, but represents a company you're interested in? So many things. And if you want to talk more about your approach or goals after the fair, you can absolutely meet with me, schedule an appointment by visiting career.cornell.edu and selecting the central office and international student support. That's how you get on my calendar. That's also in the email I sent on Saturday. But there's lots to do. Okay, now what questions could you ask or should you ask? Here are some examples. What's your process for hiring? Do you have an event coming up? Again, you can just look up the employer and see in Handshake. And then if you don't see anything, absolutely ask about this. What skills are you seeking in strong candidates? I heard your company is involved in whatever this work or project or major deal is. I'm interested in working for you because of this, this particular skill set or emphasis or expertise that I possess. Could you tell me more about this project and opportunities to get involved? And there's more beyond just these questions. Professional introductions. So what should you say when you're introducing yourself? Give them your name, what you're studying, what year you are. I'm a junior in applied economics and management. My name is John Doe. And I'm a junior. I interned this past summer as a, I don't know, business analyst for X company. I have some real examples in slides coming up. And I'm really interested in accomplishing X or doing this with my profession. And I wanted to connect with you because I've heard that your company does XYZ. You should be aiming for 30 seconds to a minute. So short and sweet, ideally, because the line will be long behind you. Unless the line isn't long, then you can do less or you can do more, sorry. This is also called an elevator pitch. So imagine yourself taking an elevator ride up to the 3rd or 4th floor. You only have so much time if you meet a representative from your dream company to introduce yourself. That's kind of where that concept comes from. Elevator pitch or professional pitch. Here are some examples. Hello, my name is Jacob, and I'm completing my master's in civil engineering in May. I'm seeking a full-time transportation engineer role where I can contribute my skills in design and project management to improve infrastructure. Prior to pursuing my master's, I worked for 2 years as a transportation engineer trainee for the New York State Thruway Authority, where I designed bridge repair, rehab, reconstruction projects across the state. I heard great things about Arcadis and the work that they do, and would love to inquire more about internship opportunities or full-time positions after I complete my master's in May. Not internships, full-time. Hello, my name is Cynthia, and I'm a junior in hospitality management. Throughout my time at Cornell, I've developed my skills in restaurant management as a student manager at Taverna Bonfils, an Italian restaurant on campus. It'll actually be in the same building if they're looking for hospitality things. At the same building, or no, sorry, that's HR and human capital. Let me erase that, forget what I just said. As a student manager, I am seeking to build my skill set toward a future career in resort management, and I'm looking for internship opportunities in hotel operations. And there's more. There's actually more examples in the toolkit if you're interested in that. But your name, your major, the year you're in, a summary of your professional experiences, and your goals. Really simple, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I encourage you all to write that out and practice it before the career fairs next week. You can follow up your questions just as I was kind of doing earlier. I came across an opening for your company, so you've done your research. I came across this opening that got my interest because it aligns very closely with my career goals. Could you share more about your recruitment process for X, for this software developer role, for this data analyst role, for this research coordinator role, etc.? And when possible, you want to show that you've actually done your research on the company. So telling them, I came across this job opening, I saw that you have this, or I read a little bit about this internship program that you offer. Could you share more? I'm a PhD student and I'm really interested in a summer experience with you. Could you tell me more about this opportunity? Do your research and show that you have. Okay, when considering your work authorization. So as I mentioned, career fair representatives, especially if they are not experienced recruiters with a company that has been known to hire international talent, they may not know much about CPT, OPT, or their company's policies or practices around sponsoring, hiring international students. So don't be caught off guard if they're like stumbling or not sure or not providing you with clear answers, unfortunately. This is part of the reason why I encourage you to look and see if that company has positions in Handshake. If they do, I've actually gone through every single company and checked, have they posted before? Because I can see past positions, or do they have current openings? But I encourage you all to do this research on your own. If you can't find anything, feel free to email me or stop me at the career fair. I have a spreadsheet, so I'd be happy to pull it up and chat with you a little bit. If you see me, I'll be around. So research that company, look them up in Handshake, look at their job postings, and get an idea of what the job posting says, so that even if the employer is like, I don't know, you could say, oh, well, the job posting in Handshake actually does say you're open to sponsorship. Is there someone at your company that may know more, maybe an HR rep that you don't mind me connecting me with, so I can chat more about these opportunities? Don't be afraid to advocate for yourself, because again, companies are not always familiar, but you know more generally about your own work authorization than a company would anyway. One thing that we're doing in hopes to educate employers, we've created a 2-page guide for employers to give them an overview of what it looks like to hire international students. And like, there's like a timeline essentially that transitions from CPT or academic training. There's a J1 track and an F1 track, CPT to OPT to STEM OPT, or just ending at OPT, and academic training start to finish. And then if the company wants to move forward and sponsor, then the next step would be employer sponsored visas. So we sort of give them basic information so that they know, okay, an F1 international student who's in a STEM program can do CPT for internships, and they get up to 3 years after graduation to work before the company needs to, before transitioning to a work visa. Now, the timing of when they may sponsor you varies. They may try early, they may try later, but they don't have to sponsor you to continue to employ you on OPT for those 3 years, including the extension. So we're giving them this 2-page guide so they can be educated a bit more on what it looks like to hire international students. If you decide to discuss work authorization and sponsorship options, as I mentioned, do your research, use Handshake to look at job postings for that company, look up their H-1B sponsorship data, see if they have sponsored entry-level positions or level 2 positions. And this is in reference to salary. I'll explain more about this in my job search workshop that's coming up later this month. And then things that you can say. So there are several scripts in the career development toolkit in Canvas, and there will be a link in the slides that I share with you all. I'll try to send this out tonight before I go home. But if you want to mention your CPT, OPT, and academic training, you could say something as simple as, my student visa allows me to work temporarily without employer sponsorship. Does your company consider international student applicants? Or if you want to talk about work visas. Okay, so let's say, I don't know why this says CPT, OPT here, but this is supposed to be focused on work visa. I think I just didn't update this slide. So let's say you saw a position in Handshake that says open to sponsorship. You can say your company indicated in Handshake that you are open to sponsoring visas. Do you have more information about this? Maybe not the process that feels like too long and drawn out, knowing that there will be a line of students behind you. But are you able to confirm this? What kind of positions do you sponsor? Whatever your quicker question is, that's more like you can give me a yes or no or quick answer, and I would encourage you to ask that. Let's say Handshake doesn't indicate they take CPT or OPT or sponsor, but there is some relevant and recent sponsorship history for positions that you're eligible for in InterTride or My Visa Jobs. You've done your research on the company. You could say, I noticed your company has a history of sponsoring work visas for software engineering roles. Are you willing to consider international applicants? I'm a software engineer or a future software engineer. Is this the type of role that you actually consider international applicants? And check out the toolkit for more scripts. Yes, I'm going to share, oh, sorry, that question was already asked. I'm going to share the recording of the presentation. Okay, I'm almost done. This is actually the last real slide with content, and then I'll take any questions that you all still have. So on the Cornell Career Fair Days, sorry, the title here is not complete. On the Cornell Career Fair Days page on our website, which will be linked at the bottom here for you, there is an FAQ, and we've added frequently asked questions that are relevant to international students. I haven't shown them here because I'd love for you all to go check it out and actually read the 5 FAQs, especially if you're an exchange student, you're here just for this semester or 2 semesters. There's information in this FAQ for you. You can still benefit from the career fair, but there's some information that you need to know. So check out those frequently asked questions at this link, which again, I will email to you all after this. I'll email you these slides. And then connect with career services. These are our hours. This is a link to schedule appointments, our website. There are also college career offices. I don't know why we still have this link here, because the college career offices are also on our new scheduling page. We updated our website last fall to bring all of the college offices in the central office together and all of their appointment booking websites. And these are the various services we offer, and it's more than these services. If you'd like to take a headshot photo for your LinkedIn or your handshake profile, I think that there's a place for a picture. Then you can take a free headshot in Barnes Hall. You can do it this week if you want to just show up between 8:30 and 4 p.m. And that can be something on your LinkedIn that you have that's a nice looking photo when you're reaching out and connecting to all those recruiters that you met at the fair next week. There are also 2 career fair oriented events. So we will bring employers, well, I'll jump to that one after I do this. So the preview event, which is 1 hour in the evening on Monday, is just so you can see the space. So if you'd like to look at Bartels Hall, see the space, walk around, get familiar, you're welcome to go to that preview event just to see the space. If that makes you feel more at ease and prepared for next week, you're absolutely welcome to do that. Alternatively, let's say you don't plan to talk to any employers on Tuesday morning, but you will on Tuesday afternoon. Well, you can still stop by in the morning and walk around and get a feel for how it looks if you want to. The preview event will just be a bunch of people probably setting up and walking you around the space. Whereas the morning on Tuesday is going to be an actual fair that may not be relevant to you if you're not trying to do hospitality or real estate, but you can still walk around. And then if you'd like to practice your pitch with actual employer representatives, we are doing this really cool pitch practice event. I think it's called Pitch Perfect. I don't know why I don't have the real title here, but that is the next hour on Monday evening. That is in the biotech building. So Bartels and biotech are pretty close together, and you can attend both if you like. And I hope that you would want to practice your pitch if you feel you need that practice. You can do it with employers, you can do it with each other. You could, I don't know, stop by drop-ins on Monday and practice your pitch, or tomorrow if you really want to do that. And then for my workshops that I'm hosting this semester, I have 4 more. Check off the box for today. I've got one under my belt. I'm doing a job search strategies for international students. This is where I'll go more in depth about handshake work authorization, looking through sponsorship, talking with employers about your visa, et cetera, et cetera. Lots of other things, networking strategies, you name it. Answering work authorization questions on job applications, like all the things that international students ask me about all the time. I'll go over this in this job search strategies workshop just for you all. I'm doing that panel confirmed so far, Alpha Sites and Amazon. I'm hoping for 1 to 2 more employers. I have a Q&A October 9th with one of the immigration advisors from International Services, First Custodia. He'll give brief overviews of CPT, OPT, STEM OPT, academic training, and we'll just be taking questions relevant to work authorization, your job search, et cetera. And then I'm doing a session. Some of you may be aware, many of you probably not, that Cornell students are eligible for a special type of visa that only goes to students at top global universities in the UK. The visa is for the UK, not the universities. So it's called the HPI, or High Potential Individual Visa. So I brought together 8 other IVs and Cornell for this virtual session, where we will have a UK-based immigration attorney talk about that visa type, talk about their internship visa that this law firm actually is eligible to sponsor on behalf of employers if you'd like to intern in the UK 1 summer, and then other visa paths, entrepreneurship, employer-sponsored, self-sponsored, et cetera. They're going to go over various options, visa pathways for the UK. Sorry, I'm coughing. But I want to acknowledge that the immigration landscape in the US is changing. I know you all know this, especially if you started this year, everything that's been happening with visas, potential changes to the H-1B lottery this coming year, duration of status, and the need to extend your visas. There's so many things happening that you all may decide, okay, I'll work for Cornell, or sorry, I'll do my degree at Cornell, I'll work, get a little experience, then I'm open to other options. This UK visa session, along with one focused on Japan, it's not visa oriented, it's more job search oriented, that are happening this fall, are really geared toward helping students explore global opportunities. And then there are 2 other sessions that are offered through Interstride, one focused on Canada and one focused on Australia, I believe. Sorry, I've got this cough situation going. But if you're open to exploring global career opportunities, this UK session is for you. And let me know if you're interested in the other ones that I've mentioned, and I can share that information with you personally. This is a screenshot of the toolkit. I encourage you to check out the fairs, networking, and resume sections. Those are most relevant to the upcoming career fair. Anything else, of course, you can check out later. All right, so I can take, let's say, 5 to 10 minutes. If anyone has questions, go ahead and put them in the chat, or you can unmute if you have questions. And while you're listening in, please do fill out our survey by scanning this QR code.